Welcome to the smoothjazz.com No Messin Session, yet another one for our artist friends and industry folks. I'm Sandy Shore from smoothjazz.com, and with me is smoothjazz.com's Director of Artist Development, Sue Parker. And
Hello.
we've also invited here today one of our favorite recording artist clients that we've had the pleasure of working with for many years now, Grammy-nominated vocalist and songwriter Sylvia Bennett, who joins us from Florida today.
Hi.
Nice to have everyone here. The topic for today is radio promotion and global music marketing. What are the differences? And Sue and I can tell you that probably one of the top questions that we get asked here at smoothjazz.com is what is the difference between those two? And also a lot of people want to know, a lot of artists want to know, is it the same thing? Or am I overdoing it if I do music marketing and radio promotion? Or the biggest one of all is that many folks think it's exactly the same thing. And we would like to talk about that for you today and kind of debunk a few things and maybe shed a little bit more light on. And these No Messin Sessions, we call them that because these are conversations between a panel of industry folks, and we we're just chatting, and you are enjoying a casual conversation with, we hope, important details. And today is quite early for myself and Sue on the West Coast. So we're authorizing coffee sips and hydration, and Sylvia's on the East Coast in Florida. So if you need to sip water or a margarita, Sylvia, whatever we can get for you, just help yourself.
I will, thank you.
We should call this the sunrise session.
Hmm.
So, Sue, the main difference is, as I see it, between radio promotion and our global music marketing is that radio promotion is marketing for radio programmers. So it's just to radio. And I'm not saying just as if that's nothing, but it's not PR, it's not social media support, it's not building followers and fans on Spotify or the streaming channels. There's no visual side to it for the consumers or the fans around the world. Is that how you describe it when you're talking to your clients?
Exactly. And I think a lot of the clients, when they reach out to me, they really try to challenge me with, I have radio promotion. What else do I need? They feel like they have it all. But I see a lot of the artists, not a lot, we have a handful of artists that will come to us when they're done with their radio promotion and say, now what? My radio promotion's done. Nobody knows who I am. I haven't built up my fan base. I have no new hits on Spotify, and they come to us to fix it.
I see. And then the other thing is, we never know if a radio station adds you. Most of the stations don't have the buy links. So, if you're getting ads on or support airplay on a radio station, that doesn't necessarily mean that the listener is going to be able to click to learn about you, click to stream you, click to know you. And also, we don't know how many listeners these individual stations might have. Collectively, it's nice to see that you've picked up that station and you've picked up this station. But if there's no clicking back to you as an artist, how can you grow the fan base? And Sylvia, let me throw this one to you, because you've been in the position where you have actually done both. You've done one without the other, and
Right.
you've kind of singled out each one so that you could see what the differences are. So we would love to hear your experience.
Well, first of all, I think that what Sue said was correct. What smoothjazz.com has done for me and other artists is that you expose us to all the different media, and you expand our audience base. And what I love what you're doing right now is whenever you listen to it on the radio, or you listen to it in the listening loft, you always can connect to Spotify. So everything you're doing is globally, and you're reaching millions of people all the time. When you do the radio promotion, as you talked about, it just goes to radio programmers. It does not go to your fans. So you can do one I think if you had to choose one, I would choose the smoothjazz.com marketing, because you also send your thing, you send information to the radio stations as well. If you can do them both, if you have the budget to do both, that is supreme, particularly if you have a great promoter that works along with you, which you do. So
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I think we're not saying don't do radio promotion, but what we are saying is we really want you to know the differences. We feel it's important for artists to understand the value of what they're getting and what they're to align their expectations. And Sue, when you see your clients, for example, work with a radio promoter and us, oftentimes it's a great result. What's the downside to it?
I don't see a downside to doing both. I mean, it really fast tracks the artist. They get the best of both worlds. They're getting on the radio stations, and the audiences around the world are connecting with them. And the one thing I do want to point out is I check our stats every day. And every day there's people in over 200 countries that are either tuning into smoothjazz.com, or they're on the app or somewhere looking for the artist. And I think that's so huge for the artist, because it's well-rounded, and that's what the artist needs.
Yes, absolutely. And so I think when you combine all of the visual aspects of a multimedia platform like smoothjazz.com, where you have a visual banner rotating throughout the website that's clickable, linkable to wherever you'd like it to go, whether it's your website or your Facebook page or Spotify, we can do that. Also, there's radio commercials that run in the stream, so that further spotlights an artist's brand name. And then what we have learned, and this is, I think, the key to the entire picture, is charting is also not marketing. Charting is exciting. We know that. I mean, we have a very large suite of charts here at smoothjazz.com, and we're excited for our clients. We're excited to see Sylvia release a new single and receive a bunch of airplay on stations all over the world. And then also our listener chart, when the listeners love, her new music, and the song floats on up towards the top of the listener chart. However, if you're focused on getting live gigs, or you want to attract talent buyers, festival producers, they're not looking at charts. They are looking at your Spotify numbers, and they're looking at your Facebook and social media numbers and your reach, because they're translating that audience to ticket buyers. And they hope that because you have 10, 20, 30,000 followers, that a nice percentage of those will buy tickets to their event. So that is also something to keep in mind. One other thing we have noted over the years, and we're everything over here, we also have a radio station. So we understand programming, we understand how the importance of airplay, but unless a radio station, whether it's online, on FM, HD, a network, tune in, an app, wherever, if it's not linking back to you, then it's not marketing. So the goal, of course, is to get you airplay and to get you exposure. But these days, with the new mediums that we have available to us, marketing has really expanded and exploded. Sue, what's the number one question that you find yourself answering on the phone every single week?
Oh man, there's a lot of number one questions. I think the biggest thing people ask is the value. They want to know what the value is for marketing. Like, is it going to work? And the other question people think is that in 2 months, they're going to be world known. Those are probably the two biggest things.
Yeah. So they ask you, what will happen if I invest in 2 months worth of marketing?
Yeah, they want to know, in 2 months, will I start getting all the gigs? Will everybody around the world know me? And it's not that quick. It's a process. And
Mhm.
that's why you need that continuity with marketing, because it isn't overnight. And if you haven't been marketing for all these years and suddenly you're coming out, then you're the new person, and people have to get to know you, and it does take time, but it does happen. And we hear from artists all the time, and we see it. that as they move forward, their fan base is growing. I mean, we had an artist that started with only us to kind of test the waters. And he said, after working with us in a campaign, he had over 10,000 followers on Twitter and he started with 0. And I've seen it on Facebook as well. I've seen it on Instagram, that it really builds up over time. And it's great to see it. And also with the, I was going to say, on the listener countdown, as the listeners vote for the artist, that really helps the artist grow too. And the artists love being on the listener countdown because they know that's their fan base and they know that's their following or potential following. It's really exciting to see. And it's exciting to see the artist posting about it.
Thank you. And Sylvia, so what happens in 2 months?
Well, in 2 months, you're dipping your feet into the water, I think, in 2 months. I think also from an artist's point of view, you have to have realistic expectations. You know, I've been in the business for a very long time. I call myself a music warrior. I've done it all. I've been with everybody. And the best thing that ever happened to me personally was to meet you, Sandy, and Donna, and get involved with smoothjazz.com. I don't think there's any place in the world that you can be an independent artist and be able to be exposed to over 200 countries and like over 20 million people. And if you have realistic expectations, what happens is you lead everybody, you take them by their hand and you look and see what they need and you give them your best advice. So my advice to everybody out there is that give yourself a marketing budget. Everybody spends a lot of money and time on creating the music, but you need a forum for your music. And in order to get that, you need to have an advertising and marketing budget. And what I love about you, Sandy, and your whole team, Sue and Dale and everybody, and you help the artist more than anyone I've ever met in my entire career. So what I say to the artists out there, have realistic expectations, start doing it and be consistent. Don't just say 2 months, I'm going to be famous. That's not going to happen. Just take your time.
It is a process, you know, and if you compare your music career to just life in general, you know, nothing really happens in 2 months except a lot of good decisions to start a path.
Definitely.
So yes, it's definitely a process. And thank you, Sylvia, for your compliments. And I do feel that we're, you know, extremely committed and passionate about, you know, artists that we discover that we end up working with and their talents. And we like to think that we guide them down the right road. And radio promotion, to me, is you know, when you find the right radio promoter, you are finding a specialist, you're finding an expert, you're finding somebody who has managed to build a career, if not a life, around relationships with programmers and radio people.
Mm-hmm.
And you've entrusted them to take your song to an inner sanctum of our industry. And it is valuable. It's just not marketing in the sense of the way, you know, the way we can do marketing today. You know, back in the past, that was the only way to be discovered, you know, for your music, was to get it on radio. But these days, because of social media, because of streaming platforms, and because of a lot of new tools, if you will, you know, the rest of the industry, such as I mentioned earlier, festival producers, talent buyers, people who pick music for television and movies and whatever else is available to you as a recording artist, they are discovering that music outside of the radio. So ideally, having a budget, as Sylvia said, to do both marketing and to do radio promotion is awesome. And if you can only do one or the other, well, you know, you can always try one leg and then the next and see what's best for you. But we hope that you'll take into account the things that we've discussed today. And anytime, Sue, that somebody has a question about the many opportunities that we offer over here, they can just ring you up, can't they?
Absolutely. And we can usually find a solution because people call us for help. And if one thing doesn't work, there is something that's workable for them. And I feel like we really try to find something that will work. If they say, you know, this is where I'm at, we really try to help them to get to that next level, to give them some tools to do what we can. And of course, you're a great resource. I mean, you listen to all the music that comes in. Anytime an artist wants to reach out to you directly, you make yourself available. And how many owners or presidents of companies are that obtainable for their clientele?
Thank you. I always tell people the number one thing I say in my conversations is that marketing, advertising is about frequency and saturation. So if you've got the product, then you deserve to have that to be heard. You deserve for people to discover your music and to make an emotional connection with you. And the only way to do that is through frequency and saturation. That's what marketing is. It's what it's always been. Even if you go back to the early days of it, you know, where there was just print, perhaps, you know, every week, every day in the newspaper was that ad, you know, for that store or that service. And eventually, you know, people discover it. And so if you think about that, in whatever you're doing, whatever road you choose to go down, even if it's just doing the social media thing, keep in mind that frequency and saturation is the first step to, you know, that exposure that you're seeking. And I've always thought of it for my own career back when I was young, starting in radio, right place, right time. But we can't be everywhere. So we have to figure out, you know, who our partners are in establishing that, you know, that brand, that connection, and making good choices. And Sylvia was so awesome for me personally to discover almost 20 years ago, I would say at this point.
Yep.
We
Pretty
actually,
close.
yeah, almost 20. And we actually met in my hometown in, you know, on the Monterey Peninsula at a business in town that we were both in. And she noticed my jacket that I was wearing, branding smoothjazz.com.
True.
And she talked to me about it and explained her whole career to that point had been a jazz singer with Lionel Hampton and touring the world. And then she'd started her own label and was about to start your own label, I guess. Um,
Right.
and I think you were actually seeking a label. And I said, why would you do that when you can be
That's
your
right.
own label?
Right. You did. Changed my career, let me tell you.
And
It's
we've been
wonderful.
working. Well, you know, you're just delightful to work with. I mean, and people, we hear about you all the time here from listeners, fans, as well as radio programmers. So that's why I invited Sylvia to join myself and Sue Parker today, because really it's a wonderful story about a talent that to that point you'd already had a very illustrious career, and then you doubled down and then really became inspired by the music of our genre and started to write originals with your producer Hal Batt in Miami, and they've become, you know, format staples over here. So it's been exciting.
It is. Thanks to you, Sandy. Thank you. You and smoothjazz.com. I'm at the best time of my career. I'm more creative now and more excited now than I've ever been. And smoothjazz.com has been a big part of that. So thank you.
And you have been a big part of our sound over here, and not just smoothjazz.com. You have airplay on, you know, hundreds of stations around the world, and that's just it. In summing up, I would say, Sue, when we talk to people about what we do service radio. We do send your new singles out to almost 300 radio individuals. That's including all of the Billboard reporting stations, all of the smoothjazz.com reporting stations, DJs that we know that we think can influence, you know, the station that they're mixing for or on the air for. We're also starting to send to playlisters on streaming platforms and podcasters now. And then on top of that, we throw in our magical mix of, visuals and audio assets. So, and then Sylvia, what have you done with those assets as an artist? Do you take the banners and use them? Do you take the radio commercials and do stuff with them outside of
Oh,
our
absolutely.
platform?
Absolutely. In fact, you encourage it. You come up with this most beautiful banners that we can use on all the social media. Anytime that let's say we have some chart action or there's something that we want to say, we always include the things that you have created for us. I mean, the commercials you do are amazing. You also do reviews on these particular albums we're doing. So we use all of that to help supplement what we do with you on smoothjazz.com. It's been very, very, very successful for us. Thank you.
We're not paying Sylvia today, although it does.
I can't help myself. I'm
You're
sorry.
you're so awesome. So, Sue, we work with a lot of amazing clients. I mean, we're just really lucky to come to work every day and have clients like Sylvia. You have a handful of amazing artists that you care for, including Brendan Rothwell and Wayne Gutschall and many others that we'll also invite to our No Messin Sessions at some point or another. That must be a great time for you as well to have artists like Sylvia that you get to interact with almost weekly.
Well, it's exciting and it's great to see from when they started with us. And a lot of them have started out brand new, even though they're not 20 years old. And it's been so exciting to see their progress and to see the fans build up, to see how much they're enjoying the process too. And some of the artists thought, they never could imagine this was going to happen to them. And so I feel like we really grow people and it's just fun. And also it's more than just the artists working with us. They're our friends. We
Mhm.
care about them. We're part of what's going on in their life. They share things with us. And anytime they have something great happen, we can support it for them. And that's really exciting to see, whether it's videos, whether it's just their birthday and wishing them happy birthday. But I feel like they're part of the smooth jazz family. And I have to say the artists in this genre are the coolest group of artists. I mean, they really support each other on social. They want to see other artists get successes. And I've had artists come into this genre, cross genre, and they said they've never had anything like this in other genres, where they felt like they were on an island on their own. But when they
Mm.
come into this genre, they feel like they're part of a team with us and the other artists. And it's so great to hear their successes.
Absolutely. So if you are, just deciding what to do with your career right now, and you're looking for any kind of support, and we like to believe that, we're very open-minded over here. If you feel like you want to explore radio promotion and are looking for a good promoter, of course we are friends with the industry's finest, and we will certainly direct you that way, and we can answer any questions you might have about the opportunities that we provide over here as well at smoothjazz.com. And again, Sue's not lying. Things that get sent to me for listening to, I eventually get to all songs and all albums. I can't promise it happens in a day or a month, but I do my very best to listen. So you're always welcome to send in music to sandy@smoothjazz.com. And you can reach out to me there as well. And Sue, ironically enough, is Sue at smoothjazz.com. And you can catch up with her as well quite easily, or visit the website and check out our contact page. We're all available there. Our small, robust team of folks over here at smoothjazz.com. Sylvia, it's always delightful to catch up with you.
Thank you.
I'm
I
so I'm so happy you could make it this morning.
Me too. Me too. I really am very excited to be part of this discussion, because as an artist, I'm just letting you know again, the best thing that could ever happen to an artist is get in touch with Sandy at smoothjazz.com. Believe me, best
That's
thing you can do.
That's very kind. Thank you so much. And Sue, thanks so much for your time today as well. I've enjoyed our chat. I know there's so much more we can cover, because you and I are in the trenches every week taking calls from artists, and there's a lot of different scenarios and equations. And I'm still amazed after all these years that we have new thoughts and ideas almost every week from different recording artists on how we can come up with a solution for their, unique and specific needs. So I'll look forward to comparing notes with you again soon, Sue.
Soon.
Soon, Sue.
Sounds great.
Thanks so much for joining us here. And this has been another edition of the No Messin Session, radio promotion and global music marketing. I hope we've been of help. Thanks so much for watching.